exciting episode of Command Beacon. Today we have something pretty special and interesting. Something we're trying out very first time here on the channel. And it's going to be a quick review on the pre-release of Kaladesh. I have with me a very special guest, actually a champion of his own, her own right, someone that I played with in the last night's pre-release and went 3-1. Is that right, Micah?
Yeah, I went 3-1.
And of course, I just gave away our guest name. Micah, why don't you do a quick introduction on yourself?
Hello, my name is Micah. As Jensen mentioned, I like to think of myself as a casual Magic player. I really only play to annoy people. I don't really play to win. So if that wasn't a dead giveaway, I'm mostly a blue player.
Yeah, that's pretty perfect. What commander deck do you play?
My commander deck, my one and only commander deck, is Edric. I like to counter people's stuff and draw a bunch of stuff because my creatures are unblockable.
Micah is a player of pure value. As you guys can imagine, it's a flying man style Edric deck with lots of counter spell, lots of unblockable creatures, all that good stuff. But guys, that has to wait for another day because today we have something really exciting. Like I said, we're going to go through both of our pre-release decks real quickly and kind of give some of our first impression on the sealed limited environment. My deck went 3-0 and split in the final round, but we did play, and I think my deck did pretty well. And Micah went 3-1, so both decks got there. We played somewhat similar kind of theme, but mechanically wise, those two decks are very different. Starting with my deck is a white-green token, going white, going overrun style, +1/+1 counter deck. So this deck came together in a very interesting manner. Kaladesh is one of the set that I wasn't fully prepared going into the limited, and green was the color I read up the least on, besides the rares and the mythics. Last night, when I opened out my packs, I had about 4 creatures in each of my color, and the last pile of cards I had was green. I was in a dire spot, but fortunately for us, we opened a playset of Kajur Seed Sculpture. For those of you guys who don't know what that card is, it's a 2-mana 1/2 that put a counter on any creature that I would like to control, that I control when it enters the battlefield. Really good. Early game, you can build up to a 2/3, 3/4, 4/5, and take over the game fairly easily. And in my case, you will see that it has more synergy with the rest of the card if I put a +1 counter on each of them. Following that up, we have the Thriving Rhino, 2/3 for 3 mana, get the energy counter, which is already good, and I may spend that energy counter for additional +1/+1 counter. At this point, I think all the tricks are out. Indeed, I'm running white-green with lots of Fabricate creatures, really good value creatures where I just want to throw +1/+1 counter on them. And you may ask me, well, what about the other portion of it? Isn't the artifact token good enough? Just wait. I do have a secret weapon in my deck, and it's the animation module. So, this 1-mana artifact is quite a beating in my deck. Given the amount of creatures I have that enters the battlefield with the ability to put a +1/+1 counter on them, which I have roughly about 12 to 13 of them, where I can have multiple triggers every single game where I'm getting both half of this amazing mechanic, putting in the +1/+1 counter and getting the 1/1 token. It just feels like a value overload. Topping off the curve here, going into 5 drops plus, we also have the 2 5-mana 5/4 Trampler. When they enter the battlefield, gain us 5 life. It's sustain, let me outrace my opponent. The fact that it has Trample is unbeatable on a 5-drop. And we also have the 6-mana 4/4 Flying Angel that effectively blink them, gave us more life gain, or in other cases, allowing us to get more artifacts triggered off of the module, making more tokens, and getting more energy counters, potentially more +1/+1 counters as well. So that's essentially the way deck is designed. Now I am running low on removal spells. Unfortunately, we did not open anything that destroyed artifact last night. Crazy. You know, said that vehicles are running rampant. However, I decide last minute that I'm going to run 3 pressure points. Why? When people start to cruise their vehicles, they don't get to attack with it right away, tap it down. Now their whole team is tapped down, my little bears will comfortably get in for a bunch of damage, putting them in a tight spot, then naturally we become the aggressor. Or they are pumping their creatures out with the +4/+4 at sorcery speed, tap it down, taking a time walk. And it gets better, guys. It draws us a card. I think pressure points in limited is super good for white, even without majority of the removal spell. Even though this deck is playing 2 color, we're still running Prophetic Prism. Card is just great, giving us the ability to to draw additional card and fix whatever double color that we might need. Early game or state or later game state, super good. Now, how do I close out the game? I have 2 powerhouses. One is the Armorcraft Judge. This card generates insane value for the deck. Why? Because my 12+ creatures gets +1/+1 counter. When I play the Armor Judge, I get to draw cards equals to the number of creatures I control that has the counters on them. I played it maybe 4 times and draw a total around 20 cards in different games. At this kind of limited environment, drawing 5 more cards in a game usually close out the game fairly good. And there's another reason why we want to dig deep besides pure card advantage. We're running Engineered Mind, a somewhat undervalued and underappreciated card for a lot of decks, which rightfully so because it's a narrower card compared to other gold cards in the set. It doesn't do as much, but in a deck where you're consistently having low drops that has counters on them become bigger, you're having so many tokens every single game, it feels good. It feels great. And also sometimes you turn your token into a 3 power and you crew your vehicles, which is a segue I want to lead into real quick. For vehicles in this deck, I'm only running 1. I'm actually running 2, sorry. One is Cultivator's Caravan. 3 mana 5/5. It acts as a mana accelerator as well. I really like it. Crew mana 3. Simple, easy to do. And the other card I'm running is, oh man, this name is 10 out of 10. Bombad Bazaar Barge. 4 mana 5/5. Crew 3. When it enters battlefield, draw a card. Both cards are above average as far as vehicle goes. The BBB, for short. He replaced himself, which just takes away the downside, right? Like you're playing a card that potentially does nothing, at least you're drawing a card off it. It's not the greatest, but it's far better than a lot of the vehicles in the set. And Cultivator's Caravan, most of the time I really just play it for the mana ramp. For my 5-drop, 6-drop, whatever. And when I need this card to get the job done, I can. And real quick, before we moving on to another very exciting deck here that Micah crafted last night, the animation module is, I think, limited powerhouse. Because not only are you gaining a crazy amount of advantage of certain mechanics, it also lets you put additional counters on permanents or player. Now that counter can be energy counter, which has a lot of applications, and that counter can be, +1/+1 counter, and it can even be a loyalty counter on planeswalkers. I think out of all the module, I would take this one before any other. Just because the mana cost is so aggressive and you're gaining value way too early, and I love early value. Nothing else quite beat it. You have the early advantage, you have the early card, the early present. Sometimes you just get the win before your opponent is possibly even able to set up the board. Alright, moving on, Micah. Let's talk about your deck in a fashion that let's briefly mention what the deck was like before we took a look at it. The 3-1 version of it.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a green, red, what would you say, like energy counter deck?
Absolutely. You have so many ways to generate an energy counter, and you have so many big payoff cards that allows you to truly spin off them in a fantastic fashion. Micah is running 3 Sage of the Shella's Claim. What does this card do, Micah?
It when it enters the battlefield, it gives me 3 energy counters, and that's a lot for turn 2.
Yep. It's a bear with an insane upside. Granted, having 1 toughness in this set is a It's problematic because a lot of things specifically targets that. But the fact that you're getting a threat out of there really early on, and you're getting consistent energy regeneration is quite good. You have, in addition to those 3 wonderful bears.
Yeah, I have my main reason why I started going to energy counters actually is because I saw this card, Harness Lightning, and it's a removal. So I choose a target creature. So this is a 2-cost removal, 1 general mana and 1 red mana.
Yep.
And so when you choose a creature and you get 3 energy counters, then you may pay any amount of energy counters, and Harness Lightning deals that much damage to that creature. So with how much mana or how much energy counters I can make, I can produce, I can pretty much use this card to kill like most people's biggest creatures.
Yep.
It wouldn't cost me that much mana-wise.
In the fun game we played just not too long ago before this podcast went down, when Micah cast this card for 2, she actually had 9 or 10 energy counters. So that's large enough to take down pretty much anything in the set, I believe.
Right.
Unbuffed. In addition to Harness Lightning, Micah's also running Dynavolt Tower, the 3 mana artifact that whenever she casts instant or artifact, she gains 2 energy counter, and she may tap it, pay 5 mana, deal 3 damage to every creature player. It's a solid finisher, to be sure. And in certain cases, when she combines the power of Harness Lightning and the tower, it's a board wipe. In a very simple manner. It allows her to get in a ton of damage and a ton of control over what's going on the board. And also, Micah has Wood Weaver's Puzzle now. So, Micah, when I first saw this card, I didn't think it was too impressive. But after I saw you play it, I felt really impressed by it. Because for a relatively cheap amount of mana, assuming you are cracking it on a different turn, this gives you 6 life, which lets you outrace your opponent.
Right.
And the 6 energy counter goes a very long way with either the tower, the Harness Lightning, or another card. This card is actually a super powerful rare called
The Architect of the Untamed. It's an elf card that whenever a land enters the battlefield, I get 1 more energy counter. I get an energy counter. And when I pay 8 of them, 8 of energy counters, I get a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token.
The fact that she doesn't need to tap when she creates a token matters. And the fact that you can passively generate energy counter also matters. The fact that she is an artificer matters as well, because there are artifacts in the set that says if you have an artificer, you may equip this equipment to the artificer for free when it enters good events.
See, I didn't look at the spoilers, so I have no idea about that.
Like, you didn't open it in your limited pool,
Yeah,
so
I did not see anything like that.
yeah. But the everything on this card is just right. Even play a 3 mana 2/3 is not too exciting. It's still good. It fills the slot for sure. In addition to that, Micah also run a module in her deck. She's running the Fabrication module, 3 mana. Whenever she gets an energy counter, she may put a +1/+, not a May ability, sorry. She puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature she controls. In a deck like this, where the energy counter is generated off the 2-drop, off the 3-drop Rhino, off the 3-drop, whenever land comes into battlefield, Harness Lightning, Tower, you get it, guys. Even the module produces passive energy counters. Creatures are getting buffed all the time. Energy counter is getting used all the time. She's getting life all the time, making tokens, and all that good stuff. Gaining board control, so on and so forth.
I did win 1 game where I didn't really have a bomb, except I had that card, and so I just kept buffing something.
And it just got you there. Yeah, absolutely. Very good. And Micah is also running some really solid removal spell. We have the Spire side. Oh, sorry. This is actually a creature. That's my mistake. She's running Welding Sparks. She's running Nature's Way, Harness Lightning, Furious Reprisal, Hunt the Weak, all the good red-green removal spell. As you guys can probably tell, her removal package is a little bit more consistent for sure. And a little bit more aggressive, in the sense that not only is she killing a creature in that process, she's also getting the damage, making her deck more versatile than mine. Now, I'm going to briefly touch up on the changes we made to the deck after the pre-release was over. Micah invited me to take a look at the rest of her pool and see what we could do with it. And resting in the rest of the pool, we found Shahili Right. This was a card that was hard to fit in the original version of the deck, which went 3-1. Did perfectly fine. Due to the fact that she was red-blue, and the blue portion of the cards wasn't that great. However, we were able to replace some of the weaker cards in the deck with more consistent creatures that generate energy token in blue. In which case, we have Genjit Sentry. 3 mana, 2/3 enters battlefield, get 2 energy counters, which just perfectly fit right into the rest of the deck. She may pay 2 mana, tap on tap target creature or artifact, which gives her even more control on the board than before. It's an easy splash 1 blue mana in the mana cost. Then we have Aether Theorist, 2 mana, 1/3, enters the battlefield. She gets 3 energy counter right away, pay 1 energy counter, scry 1. In a deck like this, where you want constant progression, you want a constant development, and maybe a constant control, that scry goes a long way. I mean, I remember the game we played just now. That there was a game you drew how many lands?
I was able to play a 7-drop, so...
and with some spare mana, I think.
Right.
So you probably drew like 5 or 6 lands in a row.
Probably, yeah.
This would have cut that by half.
Right.
Easily by half. If you draw a card, draw a spell, just level you out on the spot. So
and I had more lands in my hand, I just wasn't dropping it because I was trying to bluff you.
Yeah, you got me. I had to play around it, not knowing what you had in your hand. So Aether Theorist, guys, is pretty good. And also, having that big butt on this dude shuts down a lot of earlier aggression. Oh, you have a 2/1? I have a 1/3. What are you gonna do? 3/1 is not that uncommon either, which seems good. If you have to block, take care of a 3/1, does the job. Give you enough time set up for more board control, you'll eventually get there. In addition to those 2 blue cards, of course we added Sahili Right. She is actually I mentioned this before in the EDH podcast, but she is actually very, very good. We're comboing her with Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. The fact that you get a copy of this thing, you're getting 3 energy counter, getting 3 life, you can crack the copy. And then you plus her, and then you just make another 1 extra if you want to. We added the Battlestella Charger. Ballista Charger, 5 mana, 6/6 vehicle. Whenever the thing attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature, players, crew 3. It's way above average as far as vehicle goes. Really easy to crew, really easy to trade up, really easy to set up a insane insane combat phase. Sahili goes really well with this as well because you crew it and then you make a copy of that creature. And now you're swinging for 12, pinning things for 2. Or however many targets, 2 targets of your choice. Very, very good. You guys can probably tell this deck is very, very versatile. Unlike mine, my deck is more linear, a little bit more consistent. But Micah's deck here is capable of doing more things. I'm probably able to fight back tougher situation than my deck is capable of. She is also running the 1 mana. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this name so hard. So I'm gonna actually have you read this for us.
Wow.
Shipping the responsibility as you see fit.
I'm gonna say its name is Ovia Bashiri?
Ovia Bashiri? Okay.
Sage Life Crafter.
Yep. 1 mana, 1/2. She's Artificer as well, right?
Yes, Human Artificer.
And what does she do?
For 3 mana, 2 general mana, and 1 green, and tapping it, you can create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Or for 5 mana, 4 of it general mana and 1 green, and tapping the creature, you create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures you control. And with my deck being so aggressive and having such a low curve, I tend to at least make that. In one game I've had it be a 9/9 at some point.
That's insane. In some situations, all you need to do is just use the 5 ability every turn. Return as most as you can. And by the way, for those of you out there that might be curious, the XX token is set. It is not a variant. So we compare, I wasn't sure in the beginning, but we compared this to Voice Resurgence token. And the token to token, card for card, and the XX is set when you create it. It does not change, unlike the voice tokens. But given everything being said, like, it's not the downside. Very, very solid card. Sometimes you're getting in there for 2 damage before you're using the ability, and that's perfectly fine. If you have some enchantment on her, it's even better. So this deck is very good as well. I'm gonna give my overall review of the limited portion of the set real quick. What I think is this set is fantastic. It's a lot of fun playing limited. You can do tokens like I did. You can do energy counters like Micah did, and this certainly isn't the only way to do tokens or energy counters. I've seen white-black tokens. I've seen Grixis counters / tokens as well. So far, the decks I've played are fairly unique, and the combination of the combination of abilities makes the synergy just overflowing in most of the decks. Would you agree with me on that, Micah?
Yeah, I don't think I really played against like a mirror deck or anything that I played same colors, but we actually had like different strategies and stuff. So
absolutely,
yeah, I would agree with that statement.
And that's what I think is gonna happen in most of your pre-releases this weekend, and maybe in the actual release too. Is that you are gonna be running into very, very different builds, and that's exciting. So final verdict here, guys. Just go out there, have a lot of fun this weekend, play to your heart's content, open some masterpieces, and open some cool planeswalkers, cool mythics, good foils, good rares, and have lots of fun with it. Thank you again very much, Micah, for joining me here on the show. And I'm looking forward to having you back for your EDH interview as well. We're gonna live it on that because I think that was a perfect ending.